Caitlin Clark's doing it, and she's getting all these eyeballs, and I'm so happy for her to get the $28 flipping million. Dude, this ain't about the color situation that's taking place. This is a girl that came in and garnered more attention than others in the game.
The Indiana Fever thought they were signing a rookie. Instead, they accidentally signed the face of an entire sports revolution, because Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she crash-landed with a contract so bold it made half the league spill their Gatorade. The front office at Indiana probably thought they were playing it safe when they drafted Caitlin Clark first overall in April 2024. But little did they know, this wasn't going to be some regular rookie signing. This wasn't a welcome to the league handshake and a $75,000 smile. This was a financial detonation, because when the actual contract numbers hit the desk, the league, the Fever, and every rival team stared at each other like, wait, she's getting what now?
The NBA. So I was like, oh, what's she going to get paid? Because finally, you can get a real paycheck. And then I saw it, and I was like, this can't be right, because this is what it is. In the first year, Caitlin Clark will earn $76,535.
Let's be clear. Caitlin Clark didn't just walk into the WNBA asking for a raise. She walked in with a mic drop. She demanded that her contract reflect her real value, not the outdated salary chart the league hands out like a school lunch menu. This wasn't about entitlement, this was business. And just like that, the league's little budget bubble popped louder than a champagne bottle at the NBA draft.
We look at player salaries, people wonder, why are NBA player salaries 100 times higher than WNBA salaries? Because the TV money was 100 times higher in the NBA than it was in the WNBA.
Because while most rookies are quietly signing starter deals and learning the ropes, Caitlin basically rewrote the entire playbook. She looked at the numbers, looked at her own impact, and said, yeah, no. Run that back. Here's the kicker. She wasn't bluffing. She knew the leverage she had. Her jersey sales were already breaking records. Her games were outselling entire teams, and her social media posts had more views than some WNBA games had in the last 10 years. So when she put that bold contract on the table, the Fever didn't negotiate. They nodded. Because when a player is that valuable, you don't haggle, you sign. And while the league scrambled to figure out how they were going to explain this adjustment to their salary structure, Caitlin just smiled for the cameras and made history. So what exactly is this contract that's causing all the fuss? Let's break it down and try not to faint. Caitlin Clark's 4-year rookie deal with the Indiana Fever is worth $338,500. Now for comparison, most WNBA rookies make about as much as a part-time Starbucks manager. $74,000 a year, with no bonuses, no extras, and definitely no first-class flights. But Caitlin? Oh, she wasn't about to get shoved into a middle seat next to the G League budget. Her deal? It's not just about the base pay. It's about benefits, leverage, and control. This wasn't a contract, it was a chess move. In year 1 alone, she's set to make $76,535. And while that might still sound small to NBA fans used to watching seventh men make $3 million, remember, Caitlin's influence is bringing in revenue the WNBA has never seen before. Her presence is what's making ESPN lock in 1.3 million viewers. Her jersey is the top seller in the league, and her name is now literally written into corporate sponsorship renewals. So when fans heard the number, some people laughed. $338,000? That's it? But what they didn't know was this. Clark negotiated a deal that included off-the-books perks, premium travel, elite trainers, mental health coaching, brand leverage, and a setup that basically tells the Fever, you want a dynasty? Then treat your star like one. This isn't a salary, it's a statement, and every player in the league felt it. Because as soon as Caitlin cashed in, you could hear the phones ringing across the WNBA, agents scrambling, players rereading their contracts with a highlighter, GMs sweating through their polos. It wasn't just about her check, it was the ripple effect. And now that we've broken down what Caitlin Clark pulled off, just when the WNBA thought things couldn't get more chaotic, Ice Cube rolled in and threw a $5 million grenade onto the court.
Caitlin Clark effect, we now have people wanting to watch golf because of her. We saw the kind of offer that Ice Cube made to Caitlin to play in the Big Three. That is $5 million to play 3 months.
That's right. Ice Cube, founder of the Big Three Basketball League, offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play just 3 months in his league. And no, that's not a typo. That's more than 14 times her entire WNBA contract for a side gig. And suddenly, the league that said we're broke had to start sweating real fast. Imagine being a WNBA executive, sitting in a budget meeting, sipping your lukewarm coffee, and hearing that a rap legend just casually offered your biggest star a bag you couldn't match if you sold half the league's merch. The offer wasn't just bold, it was strategic. Ice Cube saw what Caitlin brought: ratings, engagement, and most importantly, cash. She was a walking marketing campaign, a human cash printer. And even though Caitlin declined the offer, probably because she was too focused on building a legacy, not just stacking money, the message was clear. Other leagues see your value, even if yours doesn't. That's when the WNBA panicked, because if Caitlin had said yes, what was stopping other stars from jumping ship too?
It's entertaining. At times I've found it more entertaining than the NBA. Now, Ice Cube threw a big offer out to Caitlin Clark, and he believes she entertained it. However, he also believes he was blocked from literally being able to sit down and talk to Caitlin Clark by her agents. I don't love that, to be honest. I mean, why not let Caitlin Clark sit down and have a conversation with Ice Cube?
What if Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, or Aja Wilson looked at that offer and said, you know what? Pass me a Big Three jersey too. It wasn't just a contract, it was a warning shot. Caitlin Clark proved she had options, and suddenly the WNBA looked less like a league and more like a last resort. And just like that, Caitlin flipped the power dynamic of an entire sport. Her refusal wasn't weakness, it was dominance. She wasn't chasing the bag, she was the bag. And the fact that the Fever still locked her in, that means they knew the cost of losing her wasn't just bad. It could have been catastrophic. Caitlin Clark didn't just sign a contract, she signed a lightning bolt into the WNBA. Because after her deal went public, the Caitlin effect exploded across every screen, app, and arena in America. Her 10-word tweet about turning a casual viewer into a WNBA fan? Over 250,000 likes in one day. Her TikToks? Over 50 million views, showing off deep threes and jaw-dropping no-look passes. She didn't just break the algorithm, she became the algorithm. And before anyone could catch their breath, Caitlin turned viewership into a cultural movement. The WNBA All-Star Game numbers jumped 300%.
3.4 million people watched the WNBA All-Star Game. That was a reported 300% increase, and that's via women's hoop.
Fever games became the hottest ticket in town, with 5 straight home sellouts in May alone. And while most rookies are still learning how to navigate post-game interviews, Caitlin was already out here making Nike and Gatorade executives fight over her next endorsement clause. But here's what really shook the league. Her teammates started leveling up too. Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith, once solid but under-the-radar players, suddenly saw their social media numbers spike. Endorsement deals started popping up. They were being tagged in highlight reels, featured in promos, and even spotted in brand campaigns they never would have sniffed a year ago. Why? Because Caitlin Clark made the Fever a brand. She wasn't just putting points on the board, she was putting commas on contracts. This wasn't hype anymore, it was data. Fever merchandise sales? Up 57% since April. Jersey rankings? Clark's was number 1 2 months straight. And ESPN's regular season ratings? Up 35%, directly tied to games featuring her. This kind of ripple effect doesn't just happen, it's earned. So while some folks rolled their eyes at her contract perks, the truth is, they were already benefiting from them. Sellout arenas don't just boost egos, they boost paychecks, sponsorships, and TV deals. Now here's where Jaws really hit the hardwood, because Caitlin Clark's contract came with perks that would make even NBA rookies jealous. We're talking first-class flights, private nutritionists, mental performance coaches, and even 24/7 access to recovery specialists. The rest of the league, still flying commercial and hoping their knees survive the back-to-back road trips. This wasn't just a rookie contract, it was a blueprint for superstardom. While most first-year players are stuffed into economy seats with ice packs and granola bars, Caitlin's over here doing yoga with mindfulness experts before tip-off and sipping on customized protein blends. She didn't just ask for more money, she demanded an entire performance ecosystem. And guess what? The Fever agreed. They knew what they had. Not a rookie, a revolution. So they went all in. They didn't just offer a jersey. They built a mini empire around her. New trainers, upgraded facilities, personalized nutrition and body recovery sessions. And yes, she even had mental coaching to stay locked in while carrying the weight of an entire league. Most rookies get thrown into the fire. Caitlin showed up with a fireproof suit and a strategy team. But here's the irony. Some players started grumbling. Why does she get the good stuff? Why does she get all the cameras? Because she earned it. Let's not pretend Caitlin lucked into this.
She'll be the biggest female star ever because she can pull up from the parking lot.
She is a killer. She is stone cold.
Caitlin, man, she's a phenomenon.
She's the best female collegiate player ever.
Caitlin Clark is capable of magical.
She broke college records, changed the economy of women's basketball, and forced ESPN to rearrange their broadcast schedule. The perks aren't extras, they're necessities if you expect someone to carry the league on their back. And more importantly, she's not the only one benefiting. The Fever's new resources? Available to her teammates too. Locker rooms, upgraded, media coverage, skyrocketed, sponsorship money, pouring in. So while some rolled their eyes, others cashed in and silently thanked Caitlin later. Let's talk about the part nobody wants to admit out loud. Caitlin Clark's glow-up is rubbing off on everyone, even the haters. Because whether they like her or not, players like Angel Reese, Kelsey Mitchell, and Nalissa Smith are cashing checks they wouldn't have seen without Caitlin setting the WNBA on fire. Their social media followers? Upper. Their endorsement opportunities? Flowing in. And their names? Suddenly showing up in mainstream headlines. It's the kind of exposure most vets beg for, and they're getting it just by being near Caitlin's orbit. But of course, it wouldn't be a true sports story without a little envy. You could feel the side eyes, the passive-aggressive post-game comments, and the "we all deserve equal treatment" press runs. And hey, it's fair to want more for yourself. But let's not pretend Caitlin isn't doing the heavy lifting. She's the one selling out arenas.
Jalen Amos is a big fan of Caitlin Clark carrying a big sign.
Because she knows how to hoop.
The preseason game is more profound than the hardwood and basketball phenom. It's an arena of dreams. Clark's image, something mothers want to share with their daughters. A player representing preparation, planning, and the payoff.
She's the one getting fans to tune in by the millions. She's the one making brands like Nike, Gatorade, and Coca-Cola throw fresh money into a league they barely glanced at before. And whether the other players admit it or not, they're all riding that wave. Take Angel Reese, for example. She might be Caitlin's biggest on-court rival, but off the court? Her own popularity surge is directly tied to the spotlight Caitlin created. They're the new Bird and Magic. And just like in 1979, when those two rookies changed the NBA forever, this rivalry is now the business model. Even WNBA vets have started showing respect. They've seen firsthand what happens when a superstar forces a league to level up. Better facilities, more press, real money. You can call it favoritism all you want, but it's actually survival. Because without someone like Caitlin dragging the WNBA into the mainstream, the whole system might have stayed stuck in neutral. Now it's moving, and fast. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more breakdowns like this and support the channel, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. Thank you.